I'm sorry people said I'm going to be funny. I'm not going to be that funny. I don't know, you look around, it's not easy to be that funny. But no, this is exciting. This is an exciting time to be alive, isn't it? I got to keep reminding myself not to curse that much. It's kind of my thing, but I know there's kids running around, so there might come an occasional one, but I'll do my best. This is an exciting time to be alive, isn't it? It's easy to get jaded. It's easy to get apathetic, but this is it, man. This is it. You know what Hillary said about the glass ceiling I put last time around? She said we put 10 million cracks in it. We put 10 million cracks in this system, this election cycle, all right? Because people are seeing through it now. People are seeing through the crap mainstream media, the corporate. 5 corporations own 90% of everything that America is hearing. And people are seeing through it. They're getting their media elsewhere, right? They're getting it from half the people you saw up here today. We're getting our media from other places because our media is a pile of crap. It's a pile. It's like a pointillism painting. You're up close, you don't see it, and then you back up and you're like, oh, it's a pile of crap. I see it now. And then they try and justify it. They're like, oh, no, it's fine. Get back close to it. Get back close. You won't even notice. But people are seeing through our rigged media because it's fear about stuff you shouldn't be afraid of. In the debates, you know, they talked about ISIS 168 times in 4 debates. They talked about mentioned climate change 4 times. All right, so they're getting you to be afraid of things you don't need to be afraid of, and not afraid of the things we should all be worrying about. Because our media, it's what gets ratings. Our corporate media, it's celebrity bullshit and fear stories. So it's like, be afraid, holy crap, be afraid. And then every commercial, do you have anxiety? We have pills that'll fix that for you. They gotta sell that stuff. No, our media's a pile of crap, but people are seeing through it, and that's why it's an exciting time to be alive. It's an exciting time because people are seeing through this rigged economy. They're seeing through the fact that we are in a system that is extracting all of the wealth, all of the resources to a very few number of people. The top 400 wealthiest people in the country have the same amount of wealth as the bottom 200 million. All right? A system like that cannot sustain. It is impossible. If they made it so that everybody who actually got a living wage and got a good minimum wage and was able to take care of family, then this system could go a long time. But instead, they're taking the golden goose, chopping it up, frying it, eating it, and then peeing on the ashes. They're ruining their golden goose, and they don't even know it. I mean, a system with that much wealth extracted to the top is incredibly unstable. It's like the end of a Jenga game, all right? It's if you want to picture our economic system, just picture Chris Christie riding on the shoulders of Natalie Portman, all right? It doesn't last long. It doesn't last long. People are seeing that we're in a rigged economy, and that's why it's an exciting time to be alive. And every time we say, hey, we need money for schools, we need money for infrastructure, we need money for the people that are starving. There's more wealth in this country than ever before and more hungry children than ever before. It is completely illogical. Every time you say we need money for that, they say, oh, we don't have the money. Everybody got to tighten their belts and just and they go, it's a class war. They say, you're putting forward class war. No, we have been the victims of a class war for the past 40 years. All right? The wealth has all been sucked to the top. It is a class war perpetrated by the top 1 or really 0.1%. And we need a class war. We need a class war, not the violent kind, because that requires a lot of running and jumping, and it's a lot of like throwing pitchforks from what I've heard, and I have like a shoulder thing that I can't, it doesn't go very far, and once they realize we need pitchforks, there's demand on the pitchforks, they raise the price of the pitchforks, and then no one can afford the pitchforks, end of revolution, so they know how to rig the system. They know. So we need the non-violent kind. We need a mental revolution. We need a class war of the mind, all right? We need a war of imagination. We do. We need to see through this, and a lot of people are, and that's what you're seeing with these polls. That yes, they show that you know, independents are only polling at a certain percentage, and they're bullshit. I mean, they're completely. If you look at CNN's methodology, 0 18 to 34-year-olds, 0. They don't even fucking talk to them. All right, they call them up and they ask how old they are. They're like, wrong number, click. They don't speak to 18 to 34-year-olds. They don't speak to enough independents either. Gallup says 42% of the country is independent right now. And when they do these polls, they talk to maybe 30%. So they're rigging these polls, but it shows that people are seeing through this. They're seeing through the fact that the number of independents has shot through the roof, shows that people are seeing through this rigged economy, this rigged media. And that's why it's an exciting time to be alive. But we do. We need a class war of the mind. We need you know, because like I said, we've been in the middle of a class war for 40 years. The minimum wage in the 60s was something like $1.60. $1.60 an hour. If it had kept up with income distribution, it would now be $21 an hour. All right? It used to be you could feed a whole family with one job. Now you can't feed a whole drinking habit. All right? It's not fair. Not to mention a whole family of drinking habits. It's impossible. We're in the middle of a class war, and we need to see the other side of it. And every time they tell us that we don't have enough money, we don't have enough money, we can't. However, we somehow have enough money for the largest surveillance infrastructure ever created. All right? Largely to monitor our own people. And by the way, privacy mentioned in all four debates, 0 times. 0 times did they talk about our privacy. And I just had I take advantage of it. Sometimes when you're bored in an airport, you can get that little, half a hand job at airport security. But, you got to make it work for you. You got to make it work for you, I feel like. We have plenty of money, all right? Next time they tell you we don't have money, remember that in 2008, when we were on the cusp of collapse, they invented $1 trillion to pay the big banks to keep the whole thing rolling. They basically invented $1 trillion. Would you keep playing a game of chess with someone who just kept putting pieces on the board whenever they wanted more pieces? Would you just be like, wow, this guy's really good? I don't know. This is a master chess player. No, you'd flip over the table and then click that little clock as a final screw you. It's like, click. We're in a completely rigged system. It's an exciting time to be alive, though. It's an exciting time to be alive because people are seeing through this rigged election. They're seeing through the primaries, as most of you know, was absolutely rigged in about a dozen different ways. Between the media covered Trump 23 times as much as Bernie Sanders during this election. 23 times as much. It was rigged in the media. It was rigged with the machines, as we saw with the Chicago Board of Elections audit that just completely shrugged off. It was rigged with voter suppression, as we saw with the 100,000 wiped off the rolls in Brooklyn alone. In Brooklyn alone. It was rigged with polling places closed, as we saw in Arizona. It was rigged in a dozen different ways. It was not, however, of all the ways it was not rigged in the way Donald Trump is talking about. A bunch of dead people voting. That is not happening. That is designed to knock voters off the rolls, which they're doing. And Greg Palast has talked about this a lot. It's a system called Crosscheck, used in 28 states. It's likely going to knock 3.5 million people off the rolls, largely minorities. And so that's how it's being rigged. Voter suppression on both sides in different ways. But people are seeing through it, and they're seeing, if one thing comes out of this freaking election, if one thing, can we just get a legitimate election system? If one thing comes out of this. Both sides are furious about it. And think about this. If this were a football game, if this were the Super Bowl, and they played the last 10 minutes in secrecy, all right? Didn't show anyone. And then came out at the end and said, hey, don't worry, we know the answer, Cowboys won. America would be on fire. All right, there would be people rioting in the streets. It would be like an angry Mardi Gras, just everywhere, just furious tits waving everywhere. It would be awful. But because it's only our presidential election and all of our elections, who cares, right? Who cares? No, we got to stand up for a better system, an accountable, checkable system, to invent a word, because Donald Trump does that, so I'll invent one. But we need a better system. But here's something else for why it's an exciting time to be alive. The studies, they've done extensive studies, and one of them came out about a year ago that showed it takes 3.5% to create revolutionary change. 3.5% of the population working with a lot of effort in a very direct way. That's all it takes. 3.5%. Studying revolutions throughout time, and they're more effective and last longer when they're nonviolent. But that's all it takes is 3.5% of the population. That's why this is an exciting time to be alive. All right? You don't need 100 million people. 3.5% of the population to get off the goddamn couch and care about this, and we could change everything. All right? We can absolutely do it, and this is an exciting time to be alive. And I think that you have to be political. You have to be people tell you not to, right? You lose Facebook friends when you're political. They're like, I don't want to see this. What happened to the cat photos you used to put up more often? This cat had on a Jill Stein t-shirt, and I find that very upsetting. It doesn't matter if you lose Facebook friends, all right? You have to be political. I'm told I'm too political all the time. Oh, Lee, you wear your politics on your sleeve and your thong on the outside. That was one time, and I read the invitation wrong, all right? You have to be political. I'm told I'm too political all the time. I used to tour colleges. Now college campuses tell me I'm too political. I'm too political to be on most television channels. I'm too political to every children's birthday party I perform at. They fill out a complaint form. Oh, we didn't like that the clown put the balloon animals inside cages and said they were factory farm balloon animals. Well, fuck you. I came here to wake those kids up. Those are tears of awareness. I'll wrap up with this. We're in the middle of something really serious, all right? This is dark versus good. This is evil versus light. This is Tom Cruise now versus 1993 Tom Cruise. This is some serious shit, all right? We're in the middle of a drop-down, drag-out, bloody war, and a lot of us are too dumb, medicated, or blissfully uneducated to even realize it. We've anesthetized ourselves with shiny shit and zombified ourselves with televised social rejects. And just like a fishbowl, if you just put a little bit of food in there and a plastic treasure chest, we will never even question that all of our thoughts and all of our soul is taking place inside of a 2-foot bowl. The width of discussion allowed on your mainstream media is tiny. It's minuscule compared to what our possibilities are. All right? We need to see outside that fishbowl. We're a lot of us are like the water spiders that are on the top of the water here. They live their whole lives on the top of that water, not even knowing that there's something above them and below them. And that's where we're living. We're living on that surface level without even doubting the rest. I mean, this unfettered, unregulated capitalist domination of the mental sphere, the natural here and now, it's a desecration, it's a digestion, it's an extraction of everything and anything that matters to your average human being. And the question now is honestly whether we'll just put our differences aside long enough to tell the ass-holier-than-thou titans of dickery at the top to go screw themselves with a rusty fracking pipe. You know? Well, that's it for me, but I would love to keep in touch with you guys. I'm at Lee Camp on Twitter. We have some more great speakers, I think, coming up. I haven't been told who's next, so I can't introduce them, but keep fighting, everybody. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Ready to fight?